Hi everyone, welcome to First Principles. Today we've got Arjun with us today, and he is the co-founder of IDEASHACKS. Hi Arjun.
Hey, pleasure meeting you, Sagar.
Hi.
Loved your name, S3. What a nice podcast you've opened up.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, so I'm here for your question and answers. Please go ahead, ask me any question. I represent Idea Shacks. Just introduce myself. I represent Idea Shacks, and Idea Shacks is a community offline and online. This community is quintessentially of startups,
Hmm.
and we kind of have now become 8 years old, and lots of stories in the journey. So please ask me anything.
I will ask about the meta journey called IDEASHACKS for sure, but I want to start with something more fundamental.
Yes.
Would you consider yourself a designer at a very
Uh,
essential
I,
level?
yeah, so I will not consider myself anything. I would
Okay,
like to say that I am an enabler of innovation, and that is
okay,
what I am. I
okay.
always was, and I
All right.
always will be. If
Okay.
somebody tells me that okay, you can code right now, I will be the first principle of code 10 years ago, uh, and so I will lose the context of today.
Hmm. Hmm.
If somebody tells me that okay, you are a designer on its own, I would like to say that yes, I am more of a product designer rather than executor of code, from the sense that uh, it is more of making the structures happen. And
Hmm.
when the structure comes from the madness, I am
Hmm.
the happiest man alive.
Okay.
Uh, that's where I stand.
Okay, so if I can extract something from there, it's like design to you could be structure coming from madness, I suppose structure that makes sense to you, probably capturing that. Would that is that accurate?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
So
all right,
anything that starts, so as you know, a lot of things, wherever you are going into innovation or anything you want to do, the word is very big. But in
mm,
the end, everyone has been doing innovation who has been going through a lot of madness in the in the beginning, where there are a lots of questions to ask yourself. There is ups and downs of decision making,
mm,
lots of lefts and rights, ups and downs, and then once the madness starts, you keep at it and keep moving in that direction. You end up getting something that becomes structured in your mind, right? Structure reveals itself. You don't have to reveal it. You just have to be on the path, and that
okay,
is what I've always found out.
okay.
Okay.
So you believe the
Yeah.
structure is out there like a form, like a platonic form, and
Yes.
we
Yes.
okay, you believe that. All right, and
Currently,
then
correctly, and that is
okay,
how I have proven every time that structure, when I have gone into a lot of. So in the beginning, people should not ask me if something new is to be made, right?
right,
That what will it look like? Okay, please
right,
don't ask me because I'm experimenting.
right,
There are a lot of crazy stuff I'll do, things with my teams also. Teams will also be given the full ownership to do whatever you want to, find
right,
out what you like, and fail a little more than
right.
usual to find
Okay.
out that okay, this is the kind of structure that is now coming through.
Hmm.
So those kind of thinking points make me very happy, because
Hmm.
in the because of my experiences, when you toil yourself into this whole process of trying to innovate on things, right?
Right, right.
uh, the toiling part, when it is given as a gain in the end, right? That night is the most amazing night for you, or the day is the most amazing when you've achieved that in the end. And
Right.
there's a reward that you cannot beat ever. So you'll be the happiest person alive. This
Right.
comes from experience design. So joined one small company as an experience design uh, guy there, and won some pitches about some design parts, how the creative directors worked. When joined a startup, gave them some where when their business was being structured into something. So the
Hmm.
main game. So, for example, working with one startup, Flexi Moms, one amazing thing happened in the beginning when we went into organizing what their website or e-commerce for the whole thing will be. So
Mm,
now, so the main first principle of a website is what is the center of that website. The main part was to understand where do we start from. Is
mm.
it the landing page? Is it the listing page? Is it the what is
Homepage, about page.
right?
Yeah.
About page or the payment gateway? What, right?
Mm, mm.
Uh, so the crux of the product became that it should start from the profile.
Right.
The profile page was the first page made on their platform,
Mhm.
and I was a part of that understanding as well, where we worked together and we made the first profile page of a women's coming back to work platform, which used to give
Yeah.
them opportunities to get jobs when they were coming back to work.
Mm,
Similarly, if you're looking at a problem from a generic way of looking at things, right? You will always end up in the end as a generic answer.
mm,
So to beat that, there was a very big need for me to, from my business slash uh, coding background in the beginning, I had to go into the design process of how to manage craziness. Otherwise, I'm
mm,
stuck in one place.
mm,
Uh, in the beginning, when I did my business school, after that, I was working with the most boring organization. Please don't take it negatively. But yeah, for me, it was very boring because I joined Sprint PCS in the US. Now,
right.
Sprint PCS in the US was the most boring job I did in life. It was 1 year of going to work at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The
Mm,
cubicles were my height, right? When I used to stand up, I used to never be able to see anyone else. So it was a
right.
very silent room.
Mm,
And it was more about you have a structure,
mm,
you have to be in that structure.
mm.
The innovation will be too far out. So the innovation will happen at your skip level,
Yeah.
right? And now you are
Yeah.
just executing on one idea, right? And
Right.
learning on
Right.
software and understanding, okay, what is a map API in 2007?
Right.
So in 2007, map API was a very big thing.
Mm,
So we used to have maps and we used to do that API marking of US and put
mm.
some big transceiver units in every place of a
Yeah.
telecom operator and
Yeah.
see if it is red, green, or orange, right? Just to know what is the stage of repair that the base transceiver unit is at, right? So for the
Mm,
US, that was the project I worked on. So it was a
yeah.
very interesting but boring kind of a thing because once you are in the structure, you're always in the structure. You're not innovating. There's no opportunity. The organization is too big
Right.
in the beginning to get that experience. So yeah, so from that structure, I wanted a little bit of break.
Mm,
So where this whole thinking of going back to the crazy advertising world and design world, where I had experienced a little bit and understood from colleagues of mine that advertising is the most craziest place in the world. So wanted to experience why people stay in advertising firms before a pitch for 4 nights, 4 days in India. That used to be the tradition then. So they
mm,
used to stay in the office for 4 nights because they are doing some shit. Everything else is nothing. You have to stay in the office and come out with a pitch that you have to pitch to a client,
mm,
right? Now,
mm,
what is happening with people who are such wild people with all types of goatees and whatnot? And that was
mm,
the initial, when I was young, it was something like these guys are doing something. I need
mm,
to understand what this is, right?
mm, mm,
And in the end, when I went to Paytm, that thing culminated into kind of an open community, which was innovating every day.
mm,
So I would give full credit to Vijay Shekhar Sharma. He was a very inclusive kind of a guy.
mm,
You from distance, he looks like too big because Paytm is now looking like too big. But when you enter his building,
mm,
he is on his Coldplay songs, right? And he is all around.
mm.
And in meeting rooms, there are small startups which are two-seater startups, like two people.
Right.
They're
Right.
trying to make an app, gaming app,
Mm,
because that meeting room was not being used too much. right?
Okay.
Then there's the Bay, where there is a Shiro's Flexi Moms startup, which I was talking about. So this startup has just come in because he said, I will not invest in you, but you need an office. Please go ahead and use my office, right?
Okay.
What it does and what happened for that company was in front of me. From finding people like us who were just across the bay, and they were always finding new ways of helping out the startup without any question of money or anything, to getting opportunities of representing themselves in places where Paytm was already entered, was already inside,
So
right? So
that
in
was the expectation, in the sense
huh?
that these startups are going to get help from you as well, apart from just the space.
Yeah. So this is
Okay.
what 197 also gave me that experience, right? So
Mm,
this something started becoming a part of the whole thing.
mm,
That I liked the environment. I liked the whole way of running things. So I
mm,
said, yeah, why don't I also, because at that time, 2011, 12, right?
mm,
There was co-working was starting to boom in India.
mm,
There were two players in the whole of India, and there was a third player by the name of 91 Springboard coming in.
mm.
So went into an interview with them and had a good conversation with them, 91 Springboard. And to the end of the whole journey, we understood that this whole product is uh, for me. I need to cater to locations which need support. I cannot be in places where already support is there,
So now,
right?
sorry, so just to give some more context. So now, after the experience at Paytm, now were
Yeah.
you part of Paytm, or were you part of some other startup that was at Paytm?
No. I was part of Paytm, but
Right,
we
right,
were very open, like a culture. So we
and
used to
helping
say,
others.
"Okay, 7 days I'm taking a sabbatical. I'm going to work
Right,
with Sheila."
right.
So
Okay.
across the bay
Fair
I
enough.
went, right? So
So you
after
got
seven
that
days I came back,
experience.
right? So
Okay.
that experience was very close to what a co-working experience uh, could have been, right? At
So
that
now
point.
in the next phase of your life, the
Yeah.
incident you started talking about, you are pitching the
Yes.
co-working space. You're figuring out how to build a co-working space product that makes sense to you. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So currently, the co-working product in Delhi NCR is sorted, right? So
Okay.
we are known. So we are known now. So you
Mm,
will see that in newspapers also. People are there. We help support colleges as well,
mm,
right?
mm.
So you will see that all the Delhi University colleges know about IdeaShacks because we are there, right?
Right.
Startup groups which are picking up from Delhi NCR, we are always there. We are
Mm,
at par with all other brands who are into ecosystem building.
mm.
So those things in presence have started happening. Now
Right.
we are executing on the program side. So this is where the product design from a physical part of the whole product design has started becoming my journey,
Right.
right? Physical and trainings and all those things have become a community building design. A design which builds communities is what now focus has gone towards,
Okay. So
right?
I wanna pin that design that builds community over here. So let me just I guess take a step back,
Yeah.
especially in your personal journey. So you
Yes.
have skill sets in computing,
Yes.
programming, business, design, advertising, and then
Yes.
and I guess product design as well now. Yet your fascination and you're putting your energies behind this project, which is essentially building communities and co-working spaces. What's the fascination? Like, what's the pull factor for you? Why this project? Why why does it make sense for you?
Yeah. So one is that building buildings with stories, which I call the sustainability part of it, right,
Hmm,
is
hmm.
something that pulls me back in terms of the building itself, right?
The physical structure.
The physical structure of it,
Right,
right?
right,
It has
right.
started becoming like a story in terms of, for example, we used to make flows, which
Hmm.
was payment gateway flow at Paytm,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That user flow now for me is a building which tells me that, okay, the user will enter from here, go to this to do this. So this
Hmm.
is the kind of connections between two types of things, but
Right.
have a similar way of understanding, if I'm able to make you understand that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So let me see if I understand. It's the world of bits and the world of atoms, and then you essentially the user
yes,
experience in the world
yes,
of bits, you replicated that in the world of atoms.
yes,
I get
yes,
that. But what I'm saying is the pull, right? So you
Yes, so
seem to
one
be
is
fascinated.
sustainability. One is
Yes.
sustainability, which actually makes me very happy inside that I am creating something that is adding value to the community outside as well of my community. So
Right.
I'm contributing to the environment, and ecologically, I am going towards the right product.
Right.
Number two, symbolic. Uh,
Symbolic.
so basically, symbolism of the whole thing
Right.
is also a pull that I really move towards. So I always go back and do how do I now become a bigger symbol? So that becoming a bigger symbol in that product is something that makes me very happy. So gets me back to, so for example, when I say symbol, right?
Yeah.
Now because we've reached at a brand level in Delhi NCR that people already consider us as a symbol of, if you go there, you will always get support.
Hmm.
Okay. The start together hashtag of ours has started working, right?
Right.
So people say that, okay, you if you want to work together, the company, the co-working space itself also contributes to your growth. It's
Right.
not only seats and tables, it's also services and mentors and people coming in,
Okay.
right? And community networking events and a lot of other things like in a college incubator and accelerator that you have, right?
Right.
Similarly,
Right.
we're moving in that direction just because of just natural way of moving towards it. We don't have to do much anymore, right?
So
It's more.
if I may propose, I guess the pull here is the fact that in these places
Hmm.
people come and I guess ideas get discovered. Maybe
Yes.
that's something you
And the
like a lot.
second thing is, and the
Right.
second thing after sustainability and symbolism, because
Yeah.
sustainability for me is also a symbol, right? And the
Right.
product itself becomes a symbol that way. The
Hmm.
second part of it is that the community and the flow of community that helps bring in ideas. So
Hmm.
the name Ideas Hacks or Shacks of Ideas and Hacks is something I wanted to be confusing for till the end of the life of the product. If you
Hmm.
call it Idea Shacks or you call it Ideas Hacks, it's fine. In the
Okay.
end, it's the same purpose of the
Yeah.
product,
Hmm.
right? And what we are trying to do is we are trying to make opportunities for ideas and hacks to be done in the spaces, either
Right.
online or offline. That's
Okay.
the main thing, right?
So
And
I wanna get,
together
yeah, go ahead.
comes something in
Sorry.
the middle. And start
Right.
together becomes something in the middle that drives everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, going a little deeper philosophically, do you
Hmm.
think, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'll have to ask you again anyway. Ideas, what camp are you in? Are ideas invented or are they discovered? They're there somewhere and we find them. We are an antenna, or are we the producer of ideas? What do you think? Human beings.
I think we never invent anything.
Okay. They're
Because
in the discovery camp.
the philosophy of I, self, ati sukshma, everything that goes smaller and smaller and smaller, and then you see, I'm not a believer in God. I am
Hmm.
just a believer in a simple thing that if I am on this world, right,
Right.
on this planet, right,
Right.
this
Right.
must be a nucleus or an atom inside a larger human being or a larger
Right.
creature,
Right.
right? Similarly, I am a very large creature for something else happening inside on in my molecules or in
Right.
my
So
atom, right?
you
So
are its
similarly,
universe.
yeah, so it is never ending.
Hmm.
It is something that is infinite. So nobody ever creates out of nothing.
Okay. Say that again. Nobody ever creates out of nothing.
Creates
Okay.
something out of nothing. It is
Hmm.
always dots being joined in some way or
Hmm.
the other,
Okay.
right? You will not realize, but in the end, it is always dots being joined together to make something
Right.
happen. So you're
Okay.
always safe. You're not the person who has the responsibility or the burden to create something out of nothing because you will
Right.
never be able to. So be calm on it. You just understand that you had an experience. Your journey is never a competing journey
Right.
because your journey is your journey. Whatever you do in life, it is your journey. Your story will always be different than anyone else's. So you will always be different from others,
Okay. So
right? So
do
your
you in
product.
that case believe that the impetus to create a design, to create a product is sometimes it's play, but oftentimes it's some kind of a problem, necessity. So do you think if I have a quest to find a solution to a problem, necessarily the problem's answer exists out there in the universe somewhere.
Yes,
And it's just a matter of me tuning into find it and connect with it.
always.
Always. Oh, it's very
Always. I'll
optimistic.
give you
I
an
like it.
example of
Okay.
it as well. So I'll tell you
Okay.
an example. Okay. So me and one of my colleagues wanted to make a WebMD for India.
Right.
Okay. The WebMD website that you see,
Yeah.
right, which is majorly medical blogs and information and things like that, right? We just waited for 3 months. That okay, we're planning. Okay, let's do this little bit of action, and we have not reached the market, right? Somebody else was doing the same thing and he made it. So you an idea only has a life of 3 months if you don't execute.
Okay.
This is something that I have found out with
Okay.
experience. I have tried 3 and I have failed on all 3. But the other part, which I was very innovative about and I took the biggest risk, became the biggest value for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Every time I had a newer idea that I wanted to work on and I was not taking a risk, right? It was already parallelly being done. So you need to, the main toil is to find what is the 3, 4 dots that you want to join to make something else, right? That is the main toil, the idea part, which
Or maybe
nobody,
how do I, yeah.
how do you, what?
How do I align myself to, I don't know, I can't explain this, but to maybe this ethereal universe to perhaps get the downloads of those ideas if such a thing happens, which
It's a
you believe
personal
it does.
journey. It is always a personal journey. You will always have moments of blackouts. You will always have crying moments. You will always have moments where you will say that, okay, I'm very sad. I'm unable to move forward. And then you will have moments where you will say, oh my God, this was there already. Right. And in that moment, if you don't execute, then that there already will stay with you only for the next 10-15 minutes. And then overall, you will also feel bad about that I didn't execute anything on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So idea is as good as the execution in the end, right? That's true. But ideas can come from anywhere. It is never, will never have something it is beyond us. It is actually beyond us to say that God created us. Right? If you think of design also, if you think about the first principles of everything, I think it was just whatever the journey has been, it has been a bigger body having a reaction, and you are on a smaller planet, which you call a planet, but they call an atom in their body, right? Right. So how do you measure what is your timeline? You are a very small timeline. So why are you worried about it? You're a very, very small timeline. Look at the bigger guy. How old is he or she? Right. Whatever way you look at it. Right. So in the end, everything ends up, you can explain anything. So another openness of the ideascape is that if you want to think about anything and you want to say that this is possible or not, everything is possible. Please, that is not a superpower or anything. It is possible. You're not executing it on your own. You're not fighting for it, right? That is the only thing. Everything has a solution.
Right.
Which is true with coders also. So developers also say the same thing. And it is true for designers also. They also say the same thing. There is one universality to the whole thing, that everything is solvable and everything can be done in a positive way. And that is where your happiness is. That,
So those are
okay.
the first principles for these two folks. That's the first like axiomatic belief, and that's how they nice.
So what happens for me is very easy. So basically, when people come in, it is majorly they're doubting themselves a lot. That is the main that I see in startups and products and everything. Why doubt? Fail. Why don't you fail a little? Enjoy the journey, right? So that is something that has always been whenever I had a team under me, like 2, 3 people under me, 4 people under me, but the guidance actually was that, okay, please go ahead. Just fail for me. I will pay for it. Don't worry. And then they used to they used to really do something. Only then they were able to do something because they found that, okay, I will fail, but somebody will keep me happy. So ideas and execution, right? So for me, a hack is an execution. An idea is an idea, where an idea is a thought and it is a dream. It turns into a thought, and then on a paper, you just write it down. The day you write it down, it wants some structure to come to it. So it asks you, please put some structure into me. At that
Mm.
moment, you start talking to that line and you try to go very wide the way you do market research. And they tell you that in market research, you first need to go a lot of wideness, width, get more and more data, then put it onto a spreadsheet or a big data kind of layout, and then do the analysis in many different ways, so that toiling is equal at both levels, creating the data and then fighting for the right information, that you're fighting with yourself only.
Yeah.
Majority of times you're fighting with yourself only. You're never fighting with anyone else, but you're mistaken that you're fighting with somebody else.
Yeah.
So this kind of small things I am also learning, right? So this is something that I have learned over a period of time. So it has made me more stable.
Mm.
The stability has come by knowing that I am safe,
Right. Right.
right?
Right. Okay.
Mine is
Okay.
safe.
Right.
Everything is safe. My journey can't be changed. Now there is
Right.
no competition. Somebody tells me, okay, I'm making the same co-working space or the same product like you. I will say, okay, but still, I will help you out. There is no problem in it. Why? Because in the end, what happens in the end is my story will always come out as separate, yours will be separate. You
Mm.
keep on doing what you do. I also have the power to pivot anytime. You also have
Yes.
the power to pivot anytime, right?
Yes.
So we
Right.
both have, and we will
Right.
always keep on improving. If you don't improve, then the world will go ahead of you, and you will be just standing with your product and saying, "Oh my God, no customers."
Yeah. I
Right?
want. I want to
So,
go. I want to go on a
mhm.
quick tangent and just talk a little bit more about ideas. So,
Yes.
there are different stages of an idea, right? There is a seed. There's a fully formed blueprint, and everything
Yeah.
in between. Have you had experiences in getting ideas in every station on this train journey that we just talked about, like just the seed and fully formed blueprint? Has it ever happened that you just know exactly what to do, or is it just always a seed and you have to figure it out? Hit and trial always comes in.
For me, an idea stage is always, so my assumption would be, when you're saying idea, then idea is always in a stage when we are looking for something new to be made,
Okay,
right?
okay, okay,
Right.
okay. I mean, yeah,
When
yeah.
we're looking at that continuum, then on that continuum, the first first step in a design process always is, and it is taught in colleges also, and that is how it actually works,
Uh,
is that you will just lose yourself for a while.
Lose yourself for a while. Okay,
What is that?
and
It is that basically you're just not judging yourself too much and going in all directions and creating three types of ways of looking at the same problem. That is how I have structured that madness phase.
three
So,
types.
yeah, three types.
What are
For
the three
me,
types?
the decider type is the third one, right?
Decider
So,
type. Okay,
what I do is I do three ways of looking at the same problem.
okay.
Okay, but they should be totally different from each other. So it can't be something like you already thought of in the first one,
Oh,
right?
so you need to come up with the ways as well. You don't have the three
Yes.
ways in the framework. Okay, okay,
So
okay.
you need to
Wow.
first understand the problem, right? So the
Hmm.
problem is to be understood in this stage, right? So problem is
Okay.
also being understood, as well as you're trying to look at the solution in three different ways
Hmm.
for the same problem that you have first found out, right?
Okay. Okay.
It can never be something that there is no problem in the product and you're trying to sell it to the same customer or making something out when there is no problem,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Uh, it a problem can come from either the community has a problem with it at a large scale, or
Hmm.
you are thinking 5 or 10 years ahead and you know that this might be something that they will need after 5 years or 3 years when the product comes to market,
Right.
right? And the
Right.
reason for it should be logical to you, right?
Right.
And
Right.
need to then explain it to people and then get their feedback of a random person. One is random, the other
Yeah.
one is the guy who knows what you're thinking of,
Okay.
and then the third one who is your teacher and he has been guiding you.
All right. All right.
So all three people I take into account when I take a decision. Okay, the point is I think this is a problem in your ways of doing things,
Yeah.
right? In that way, then the random guy will automatically not have any qualms about anything. So he will just go and give you some simple understandings of that. I think you're thinking in the wrong way. You don't need this. Problem is wrong. You're looking at the problem, which is, I don't think so, is a problem, because he does not have any inclination to talk to you that much, right?
Right.
He does not have to protect you, right? That I take as the best opinion, right? As the largest opinion. So I take the largest audience from that side. Then the second part is the one who has known the problem. I will
Mm,
ask him again and again from many angles that, okay, तुझे क्या लगता है, do you think that this is actually a problem,
mm,
right?
mm,
I think then I will do role play also with him. I have done that
mm,
too. Started saying, if I was this person, I would not go for this, right? And then he will answer that, right? Now
mm,
we
mm.
understand what are the loopholes in it and those kind of things. So we are trying to understand the problem,
Right.
right? And then the teacher will always have the experience part. So he will always one or two people in the mentor side who will just look at your thing and then give you an understanding that, okay, look at this also. या हमारे टाइम में तो ऐसे होता था, तुम्हारे टाइम में क्या होता है,
Yeah.
right? So that is another thing, right?
Mm,
So problem जब define हो गई, तो then we look at the solutions, right? So now
mm,
solution is something that I don't know how to define it, these
mm,
three different ways. But generally, what happens is, if you break your thought, so the breaking of thought for the solution part is
mm.
that the first thought that you have is the easiest thought you have,
Okay.
because it is the problem in front of you and you have thought, okay, isko hum aise solve karenge, we will solve it
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The painful part happens when you have to break your thinking in the second option, right?
Mm,
Which is the truth of the day. So now
mm,
you have to break. Now,
mm.
what does it need? It needs a full personal, psychological, emotional, crazy moment of going out. I think you also have those experiences, right? You must be also thinking of very many things, right? So it is
Yeah.
a journey where you get into the second step, and the second way of looking comes randomly for me.
Mm, mm.
Out of all the toiling and saying, I am not able to do anything, yeah, I'm just stuck, yeah, how do I get out of this, yeah, I just want to break myself, yeah, I just want to go out and do something else which is not me, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then the second thing happens, right?
Yes. It
It
just
happens
comes. Yeah.
randomly in a place where you are very light, right?
Mm,
It generally
mm,
happens when you are very light mood and you have lost the thinking of the problem, right?
mm.
The third one is something that you need help with.
Okay.
I'll be very
Okay.
honest about it. So it is something that you need help with. So
Right.
either sometimes you have a basic idea, but then you need some help with from outsiders. So you need to go to the solution and then look at other people's opinion on it and then build it like, okay, can it be accepted by those people who are about to use it?
Mm.
Right? So kind of find those people in your close ecosystem and then try to do that. So that is how it has something to
Worked out.
do, right? It has worked out.
So this particular process that you described, this framework, it's a heuristic, right? This is what they teach in design schools and places where they
They
talk
do
about
teach
where
it
do
in
ideas.
design schools. They do teach it
Yeah,
in design schools, but putting a structure to it too much as a design book
yeah,
is
yeah.
something that you can't do.
You
The
can't do,
way
right?
the book tells you in design thinking that you have to go through this, the first option is your own design. The second product is the design that nobody will like. And the
Right,
third one is the design that's the audience will like, which you have put a persona for,
right,
right? Out of these three options, now you choose which one will the client take, right?
right, right.
Or you combine these three and become something that, okay, it is acceptable, but your vision of something innovative reaching the client is also true,
Mm, mm,
right?
mm, mm, mm.
So that is how they look at it. For me, it is more like, first you need to define the problem completely, because for me, it is not anymore a job where problem is given to you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
No, but I
now
guess
it's more of
in
defining the problem as well, right?
their defense, though, they might be sort of like whatever they teach in the schools, it might just be an accumulated body of knowledge with different practitioners. So, like, if
True,
you are involved in that process of
true,
like educating the next
true,
generation,
true.
This is a
Yeah.
very useful framework to share.
But they are teaching you, yes, but they are teaching you in a way that you become a job holder.
A job holder. Okay, yeah, I
Universal.
mean that's the point. It's a vocational
Yeah,
school.
so you're working for somebody else,
Mhm.
which I have
Yeah.
found out. So once you go into the problem defining stage, no,
Mm,
if you define the problem also, those
mm,
innovation cells in large companies where those tinkerers are sitting, where they are
right,
getting funding from those guys who are getting innovation departments of places, right?
right,
Or your own company that you're running, right? These
right,
two have the same attitude of first, let's define the problem. Yeah.
right, right.
I don't think so. We can land on the south side of the moon,
Mm,
right? But we will land on the south side of the moon.
mm,
Nobody told them to. They had to
mm,
solve a problem. So the
mm,
problem they chose, where did it come from? It came from a very, I would assume that it came
mm.
from a very rudimentary understanding that one guy out of no scientific knowledge or something said, we have to be symbolic.
We have to be symbolic. Okay, okay.
We have to
Now,
be a
what does that
symbol
mean?
for others, right? What did you achieve out of it, right? After 1 week of the satellite being on the moon, it just slept,
Mm,
right? It was
mm,
more of a symbol. Somebody walked in and told you that, okay, I think this is the problem we need to solve because this is aligned to the vision of India, that we get into a mode where our country is defined in a different way,
mm,
where we start proving to our audience that, okay, India is better than most other countries in their space program in a way that they can solve for something that nobody else has done for the last 70 years
mm,
since the space program or whatever they were trying to do,
mm.
and then ended up doing that and showing them in the first 1 week. So it was a very hopeful moment, right? But
Yeah,
the
at a
defining of the
price point
problem
which
was
is
the most
amazing.
entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
You
okay.
can't define
So,
entrepreneurial. So it is more wildness than coming back to a structure. So it is a madness stage and then putting structure to that madness also.
mm,
Right.
okay. Taking a step back, then, do you think this is a process where somebody is, like in the olden days where there was a actual land frontier? I don't think we have land frontiers anymore, but when there was an actual land frontier, people were going out
Yeah.
prospecting for minerals, diamonds, golds, and then actually getting them. I think this is a very similar process. Obviously, it's not as physically arduous, although it could be, where they're trying to prospect for something. Some people pray in some like to get the certain problems. Sorry, not problems, certain
I think the
solutions.
problem now we face, the problem
Mm,
now we face in defining a problem is not about the people going out and finding gold fields, fields of
mm,
gold,
mm,
right? The
mm.
problem we now cater to is generally that what is gold and how gainful is gold to us
Oh,
at
no, no,
that
no, no,
stage.
no. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
agree
we are
with that.
defining the
Huh.
problem at that stage, right?
Right, right,
Physical
right, right,
is
right.
very easy.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Physical
yeah.
doing the work, execution is the easiest part,
Mm,
right?
mm,
It is the
mm,
toiling to reach the execution is what is actually there. But execution is equally important because if you don't execute, somebody else will do it, and then you will lose,
mm.
right?
Yeah, yeah. So that idea, that I guess idealism you can call it, is very important because from there a framework comes in. So it's very subtle. It starts
Yeah.
getting more and more material. It starts getting really material when it comes to actual physical goods and
Yeah.
services and the
Yeah.
execution.
So
And
for me, in
there are no
my
good.
diverse career, na, so in my
Yeah.
diverse career, because it has been so many industries that I can't even imagine where I come from anymore. So basically, from coding in a telecom company to going back to a experience design firm, which used to have a creative understanding of making experiences for brands like Sony Ericsson stores and design them according to the brand guideline of the store, right? To going to Paytm after a design school, which was more about advertising and product and critique sessions, and going to Paytm, becoming a product designer there, and then moving
Mm,
from there to a co-working space where I now can call myself as a builder of communities or whatever I can call myself. So that is
yeah,
where the journey has been a full circle, right?
yeah,
It has
yeah,
been so weird a journey that everywhere there are some universalities, and it has more, it has been actually, it has become more philosophical. Numbers have started defining the philosophy of it, right? So basically, the end of it is that the solutions are defined as you go forward now. Problem was defined at a moment where we were the first co-working space of a region, when we opened our own business. And then now the community has picked us up, and the community is now a product itself. That is where the whole journey then starts becoming. So
Yeah.
go ahead, the whole
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
So idea and execution. So ideas and hacks, right? So hacks, we do hackathons in our co-working space as well, as a literal word of it. But yes, the main thing is that when a person walks to the reception and he's talking about, okay, why don't we have food ordering from outside in railways, right? So at that time they were discussing this when this product had not come out from the government side, right? So in 2016, 2018, this product came out in railways. And 2017, we were discussing in our reception that, okay, why don't we make an app? Everyone has a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And we know the exact time of a train because the app is on his phone.
Yeah.
So we can deliver something.
Right.
So now can we make an e-commerce on top of it? So those kind of discoveries and those kind of happy moments of idea exchange was something that made me very happy.
Yeah. And that's, I guess I can't, I don't know if you can basically have a metric for that happiness on like a balance sheet or whatever. It's, you could guess, but okay, I want to ask you a quick round of rapid fire definitions, right? So
Oh,
this is a
interesting.
definition request, right? All right, so let's
I
do
love
that. Very broadly, define hacking for me.
Yeah, so hacking is breaking jugaad, Indian word jugaad, and basically hacks are basically a problem solved better.
A problem solved better. Okay.
Better, right? It is a hack. It is not a normal solution that has been in the market. So sometimes
Right.
the problem is that the solution is too big to handle.
Right.
So problem is also you need a hack for it, right?
So what's the difference between a solution and a hack then? Because a
So
hack
there
is a
are many
solution.
things. So I'll tell you an example, right? So in
Right.
school, we used to go into programming language, programming competitions, right?
Yeah.
So bits and bytes used to happen in modern school, right?
Right. Right.
And there used to be one developer who used to write the whole code in one language.
Right.
And then there was another coder that used to come in and choose 2, 3 languages and combine the code and make it so light that and he used to finish 1/4 of the time that other used to take. If 60 minutes other people took, he took
Right.
only 15 minutes to do it,
Right.
right?
Right.
His
Right.
code was lighter, right? Now
Right.
that is a hack. That is an
That's a
amazing
hack.
hack.
Right.
And he was a everyone used to be in awe of that person, right? So because he used to never make a mistake in programming, we had that guy in there. So I was also in awe of that guy, right? So he used to come in, he used to code. His name was Sekat Guha. He used to code, and he used to just go in 15, 20 minutes. Everything was done, everything was good, everything was amazing. And we used to keep on toiling with our code, right? We have to do something. Everyone else was doing that, but no, it was not the truth.
It was not the truth. Okay. So
Yeah,
do
so
you
the truth is the hack, right?
the
So the
hack?
truth
Right.
is that you have to reach the hack level. You have to always find newer ways of solving the same problem also sometimes.
Newer ways of solving the same problem. So if some
Same
people
problem
say
as well.
don't reinvent the wheel, perhaps do reinvent the wheel. Not every time, but perhaps do reinvent the wheel and figure something out. I will ask though that does a hack ever gain in stature and graduate from being a hack to an acceptable, traditional, classical problem-solving method? Does a hack graduate to that ever, or does it always
Always,
remain an
always,
outsider?
always a
Okay.
good hack. Always a good
Okay.
hack will become a product.
Okay. Oh, okay. Always a good
Obviously,
hack will become a product. Okay.
become a product, right? So one more
Right.
statement.
Right. Last statements
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Yeah,
Next
but yeah,
definition.
so yeah,
Right.
so that is truth. Yeah.
Yeah. Very broadly, very broadly. Okay. Define design for me. And sorry, before you do that, the reason I'm asking is for some reason, I know better, but for some reason, whenever I think of art or design, I hear these words, I just imagine somebody with an easel and like a paintbrush. And I'm not that, so I feel alienated, but then I also feel drawn to this particular subject. So, what is design? Very broadly.
A design would be something that actually is a applied version of art,
Applied version of art. Okay. To do
right?
what?
To solve for other people, right? So
To solve other people.
design is always something that solves for other people. It is not art, because art also solves in one way. So
Mm,
over a period of time, I've become something, everything has become very philosophical as well. So,
mm,
and scientific as well, in a way that,
mm.
okay, art is also solving a lot of things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, and on top of it, the product part of it, the way people use art,
Mm.
is what my definition of what design is. So you need
The
to
way
make
people use art.
graduate, so you need to graduate from an art piece to something that people will use in the best functional slash aesthetic slash uh, uh, yeah, functional and aesthetic part, the way they will use a product, right?
Right. Right.
So, for example, I'll tell you what are the opportunities in India right now, and what are the
Right.
opportunities in the UK, right? So, UK
Okay.
has good road signs, right?
Good road signs. Okay.
Road signs, right? Very
Yeah.
simple thinking there, right?
Yeah.
Wherever you go, you know what is going on the road,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Every signage is exact. You don't have to go through the whole training of getting a driver's license to know
Mm,
what this means, what that
mm,
means, right?
mm,
In India, first of all, the execution of that design is, a big opportunity. They
mm,
put a signage and then they put a tree in front of it,
mm,
right?
mm,
So you can't see it, first of
mm,
all, the location
mm,
of that product, right?
mm,
Then you have turns which are telling you that this turn goes to some location, but it actually does not go there. The turn signal is incorrectly installed, so it is just diagonally there, but nobody knows what to do,
mm,
right? There are a lot of places where there is a symbol required, but there is no signal or no symbol there to show you what to do,
yeah.
right? This is what is something that is not the right way of looking at a country where you are trying to. So what this product does is that India as a product becomes something that puts stress on people, on the sense that where they don't have to put any stress. So driving should never be stressful.
Yeah.
What should be stressful is when I reach the workspace, I should be able to have a good conversation, and that is the positive stress I want to go through, that okay, a product is being made,
Yes.
right? So this
Yes.
is where art could enter to define how people psychologically infer a signage,
How people psychologically infer a signage. So
and then they could
art could help.
execute it.
Art
Art
could
could
help.
have done it
Science
too. So,
cannot.
for example,
Psychology can't.
here they have a horse rider also. So they have a symbol for horse riding, right? A horse might
Mm,
cross from here, right? And it is
right. Right.
actually
Right.
there because a race course is just close by,
Yeah.
right? Now, such signage, we don't see it in our country, and it
No.
keeps, it's an opportunity which they now
Mm,
need to move, and they are moving towards it now.
yeah. Yeah.
But this is where art then becomes something of a applied
Discipline.
functionality, right?
Yeah.
So for me, design is applied art, right? That the way they define their courses, nothing big there.
Right. Right. Okay.
True.
Okay.
So yeah.
No, so the reason
Uh,
is nothing big. There's like, let's say I want to become later on, I would like to lead a large company. Would
yeah.
it make sense for me to go to a design school as opposed to a business school? I know it's not a direct path, it's not linear.
There are two thoughts in the
Yeah.
world. One
Yeah.
is the wider thought of becoming an entrepreneur and knowing everything a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Then there
Yeah.
is this subject matter expertise, which you go
Yeah.
deep. And now the new culture, which has just balanced it out completely, is
T
the
shape.
T structure, the T
Yeah.
shape. So
Yeah.
that T shape is actually where you need to find your own calling.
Okay.
Design is in everything, so you are never
Yes.
losing. So if you are coding, you're designing. If you are aesthetically doing some art, there is some design to it. There is always design in everything.
You're writing an email, you're designing, but you don't even know because it's so normal for you. Like when you construct,
Uh,
like an essay.
Yeah, so you
And,
can't win with a in a debate with a coder also that am I creative or are you creative? Is this design or that design? You will never be able to win. It's an argument that is never won. It is
right,
basically you just agree we all are designers, right? We are a part of
right,
a design, a larger design,
right,
whatever
right,
it be, right? But
right.
yes,
So can you at a very essential level call it a problem solving technique, a solution technique, an approach to solve a problem, or a
design.
solution in itself?
Yeah, design obviously is a problem solving technique. It is a problem solving technique, but yeah, every time you make something for somebody else, you're designing something for somebody.
Yeah,
You're making for yourself, you're designing something.
yeah,
Whatever you are doing, design becomes the story that starts from zero to what you are right now. So yeah,
right.
true.
Okay. So if you assume there is like a like a scale, right? So planning on one side and ad hoc on this side. Um,
Right.
is there any use of ad hoc in the whole design process? Or design by itself means that it has to all be systematic and it has to follow a particular process. Like, I don't know if I'm asking the
No,
question
I
correctly, but
understood. So it
yeah, yeah,
cannot follow process because you're again going back to the problem definition part, right? So
right,
you are going into the toil of something you will learn from the history of your experiences and appreciation
right,
that you appreciated in life, whatever you
right,
appreciated.
right.
On top of it, you will have to go mad. So you'll have to have structure plus madness. If you don't have
Structure plus madness. Yes.
otherwise, you will not be able to find the dots that you want to join again, right? So
Personally speaking, how much structure, how much madness? Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40 for
now,
you?
after 8 years, it has become more structured.
More
Creativity has
structure.
become more structured.
Mm,
In the beginning, it used to because I'm concentrating on only one product these days, and
right.
but in the middle there are spurts of crazy moments
Mm,
where somebody comes in and gives me a pitch, and I look at that pitch and I go, "Oh my God, this is so amazing!" And I start having conversations in my mind. So it becomes a very nice 15 days or so. Spurts of crazy madness is smaller spurts,
mm,
and the initial madness of creating that product, which now is called IdeaShacks Ventures, and the product that we have,
mm.
that is now structuring itself. It is telling me to move in this direction, move in that direction. So I'm in a flow, a positive flow. I feel
Okay.
good in this movement.
Okay. So it's kind of revealing where it wants to go, and then you facilitate
Yes,
that
yes,
particular request. All right.
yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
So you had a triangle, right? Your triangle was design, community, and sorry, what's the last part? Design, community, and environment, sustainability, right? Design, community, and
Sustainability.
sustainability.
Yes.
So in the definition, I said rapid fire, but I love this. Define community for me, and is there a hierarchy in that triangle for you? Is community at the top, or does it have equal weightage with the other two? Like, how do you see community? Why do you value it? And yeah,
All three are equal,
okay,
but all three. But the first principles of a community is the structure that you reach for it.
the structure that you reach for it. Okay,
So
okay,
basically, the design product slash sustainability part becomes the
right,
structure on which everything else stands, right? For
right,
me, the community
right,
will not exist if the online platforms are not there, if my offline platform is not there, if my product is not giving me the sustainable numbers
right,
as well as the sustainability m- uh, programs and products and all those things that actually enable it, right? There will be nothing which will actually become a community.
right,
A community is always a result of the effort of the design and the sustainability part of that design. So I separate out sustainability from the design part because sustainability has now taken over a large part of the discussion.
right.
though these two things are actually similar, they are virtuous to each
Yeah,
other. So
yeah,
they actually are a part of each other, but they have become a bigger conversation now for us as well.
yeah.
We have started, as you know, I also have a podcast, which I do in a video podcast, which you know, ImpactX Studio. You can
Yes.
look at that. So we
Yeah,
take
it will be in the show notes.
yeah, so we do interviews of brands which are sustainable and impact driven.
Hmm,
So I
hmm.
take the interview, I get a lot of learning like the way we are in this room, right?
Yeah.
So those are communities and efforts that we have done personally, and we have tried to get more traction in terms of making the network effect happen, right?
Okay.
So design, sustainability, and community. So
Right.
what is a community, you were asking? So
Yeah, yeah.
community for me is majorly a group of people who actually are able to add value to each other. Very simple, first principle, right?
Right,
Uh,
right.
uh,
No,
for
it's
me,
actually not very simple. You're blowing my mind with these one lines today. Group of people who can add value to each other. Okay, okay.
so nothing else, that community and that value proposition is your own definition. So your framework is defined by you.
Hmm,
And then in that framework, there are people who play,
hmm,
and in that play, a lot of innovation then turns out to be a group discussion or something like crazy stuff coming out. So
hmm.
that is where we stand, right? So
Okay.
we are very happy in that zone. So these are the three pillars that I want to work on in my whole life.
Hmm, hmm,
Design for products, services, uh, and sustainability, because I need to define them in a way that, okay, they become sustainable and automatically running without me as well.
hmm,
And running at a very efficient level. So they become symbols. And then community, where the community then becomes the networking effect to spread the message and
hmm,
get people together and create more value in this whole journey of every day going through these three dots, right? Just going around and round into these three dots and just meeting them every time and then redefining it every day, it will end up becoming something that will be very valuable in the end,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
Which will be
hmm.
very happy, and a journey which will become something else, right?
Yeah. Okay. So that's you. You found your sacred triangle, so to speak, here.
So I have found my sacred triangle. Yes, I have
Okay.
found, and I'm very happy in it. And I don't need anyone else to make me happy now these days. I'm very happy with these three things. Yeah.
Great. So can you shed some more light on the whole symbol part that you're talking about? Become a symbol. I'm not understanding it. Like, what do you mean? Like, become something grand, like a king, or what?
See, a symbol is some in the context that you are in. So
Hmm,
whichever context we are in, we want to become a symbol there. Of
hmm,
what is a symbol for a community is their perceptions of what you will provide as a value.
hmm,
So, for example, if I am in a Delhi NCR region, the Delhi NCR people will want me to support them in their startup needs every day, try to understand, give them an opportunity to have networks. Those kind of things are very valuable
hmm,
to them, right?
hmm,
And we are right now at a symbol stage there where every type of community in that city, the whole of that city knows about our brand,
hmm, hmm.
right?
What's your total like vision for this Idea Shacks, if you have one? Because you say your
So
vision is
we want to
evolving, but
have physical. So the total vision of this Idea Shacks is one day it should become an institution,
hmm,
right?
like a university or
Institution. I couldn't,
okay,
the older definition of a university will not exist at that moment. So the way they are teaching us is join a job. That is
okay,
a
okay,
very
okay, got it.
different way of living and
Yes.
things. I have found the pleasure and the taste of doing for something of my own,
Yeah, yeah,
right? That
yeah,
taste will never go away. I will never work for anyone else.
yeah.
Even I
Yes.
love my earlier bosses, but I
Yeah.
will not be going back and working under them. For me, a customer is my biggest boss, I want to work for customers. I want to work for startups. I want to contribute to the growth of these guys. The pleasure of it, the whole product flow, and this whole thing, this triangle of three dots, is that when a person's so a week back only, I had a chat. One guy just reached out on WhatsApp and we had a chat. He was an older member of our co-working space in Delhi, and he tells me, Arjun, I started at your place with me having one seat, and we used to do a lot of things, and we used to fail together. Now I am 100 team, and I am based out of Dubai, and we have two teams in one is a 50 team in Dubai and the other is in Delhi, and we are expanding like crazy. So I just wanted to say hello. We started from here, right? Highest moment, highest moment. Money will come. Obviously, money happens. Money you should
Yeah.
never fall. It will always come.
Okay. Okay. It will
It will
always
always
come.
come. Yeah, it will always come. Your network effect will always help you. So I have seen opportunities come out of those networks. People have got me into rooms where I was not supposed to be, and I have got a lot of money value as well out of those rooms. And it has become very nice that okay, you had a network of people to work with, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
And vouch for you.
Introductions were easy. You were able to enter those discussions, right? So this whole journey of getting into a community and creating that pull is something that keeps me alive as well. So so the layers are so many that talking about them can waste somebody's 24 hours for me, right? So if I sit with you, I will keep on talking about all the layers of everything. So it is like an onion. So all the layers have something positive in there. The taste is there if you put it into a dish, right? So those things are happening. So
Yeah.
lots of things to work with. Lots of people went in. The experiences have been so rich that all types of people, all types of questions, all types of environments. And that is where the whole product has given me the happiness that I am okay with
Right.
everything. And growth has become the only thing to do now, which is easy,
Right. Right.
which is
Right.
already started happening. So those things,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. So in this situation, uh, you as a problem solver, I suppose, are you interested in just the art of solving problems? Doesn't matter what the problem is. Are you agnostic towards what the problem is? You'll just have at it because you like solving things, or is there like a certain sector that you're more interested in? And I'm assuming that that's the case. Um, so how do you approach that? Like, is there a
So
problem you're
see,
like,
these are
okay,
two questions, I think the two disconnected questions. So first of all, yes, I like to solve problems, right? And
mm,
problems is something that I really like to work on and then fail fast, and I really love
mm,
it, right?
mm,
The second part to your question is that which sector I am concentrating on. I am not the only sector I'm concentrating on, I would like to tell you, is the one which actually has a larger impact on so a problem which is a scaled up problem, which
larger
is
impact on whom? Just people,
so
society.
larger audience is getting
Uh,
help with that problem,
okay,
right?
okay, okay, okay.
So I'll give you an example of a guy we interviewed. So it's called Green Pod Labs.
Mm,
Now, what he did was a very small problem he solved
mm,
for India, right?
mm.
I am becoming his voice because I really want to do it, right?
Okay.
This person made a small pouch, which was an
Mm,
organic pouch of Indian organic plants and herbs and everything, and he made a pouch, right?
right,
A
right.
simple paper pouch, which is available at a very small price, like 10 rupees, 5
Okay.
rupees,
Mm,
right? And he put it into a mango basket.
mm,
Okay, and the life of that mango basket became 14 days more. So what he solved, now look at the
mm,
problem he solved. The problem
mm,
was when a buyer for a farmer used to come to the farm and buy his produce for mangoes, he used
mm,
to say, I will pay for 60%, but take the 100% of your produce because
mm,
40% of it will go waste while it's going to the market.
mm, mm,
Okay, so he just put a pouch of 10 rupees in a box for that farmer, and the
yeah,
farmer got 40% more money.
yeah. Immediately change the balance of power. I mean, yeah.
It changed the whole of India actually. That one guy who went into a lab and said, "मैं ये organic, I'll make a organic pouch and give it to people."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
came to an interview with us on ImpactX, and he
Hmm.
was an amazing, down to earth guy, and what he has solved, right? Those are
Right.
products that actually become things. So another one we interviewed was Jaipur Watch Company.
Right.
Okay, the founder of Jaipur Watch Company is a CA,
It's a CA. Okay.
but he is a journey of 9 years toiling in his watch shop, trying to sell three watches that he got designed on his own.
All right.
Right now,
Okay.
these are the only Indian design thinking product, only Indian design product in watches.
Right. And then especially in the prestige section, right? Rolex and
And no, there is no other brand in the world which actually does coin watches of India.
oh,
It is
okay.
a very traditional Indian design made into a watch,
Right.
right?
Right.
And this guy, being a CA, he has the inclination to make that watch, and now he has gone in Delhi or in Bombay and in Bangalore. Just look at his stores
Right.
and the luxury that he's got into India. There was a big conversation happening 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when he was not discovered yet,
Yeah.
where everyone used to say that India will never be known for product
Hmm.
design.
Oh,
India will never be known for product design. So if you know
never be.
in physical product side,
Hmm.
in physical product side, I'm saying. So
Hmm.
in physical product side, you will never be someone who can give something of a brand, right?
Hmm.
You can
Hmm.
never be a brand.
Hmm.
So in terms of, like, for example, you have a Jaguar in UK, right? So
Hmm.
you had a
Hmm.
Jaguar brand. Now it has its own way of looking at a car. You can, from a corner of that car, also make out that this is a Jaguar.
Yeah.
How does that happen? It happens because somebody had a design language, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy has started becoming that for
Hmm.
India. So the
Hmm.
first ethnic micro luxury brand from India
Hmm.
is Jaipur Watch Company,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Now, this is something that he's solving. What is he
Hmm.
solving? He's trying
Hmm.
to make the whole ecosystem of watchmaking come to India.
Okay. Okay.
So the
That's the
whole
big
value
problem he's
chain.
solving.
So the value chain of the watch is, right now he's looking for Swiss dials and Swiss systems,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Now he's trying to make Indians learn the Swiss system so he can get a factory in India to make the same Swiss basics, right?
Right. Right.
Now, this is what is happening when money comes into the picture and he gets the money and he moves in the right direction and he then starts to solve for India. The problem he's solving is such a big problem and he's such a small guy that it becomes so inspiring, right?
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
basically he's solving for India statement that India can be a physical product design country,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm. The prestige brand and
This is a
all the
problem.
everything.
This is a large problem solve, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
His lowest watch comes at around 35,000,
Hmm.
and his highest watch comes at around 25 lakh.
Hmm. Hmm. Right.
And there are buyers for both. There are
Yeah.
collectors calling him every month and telling them that अब कौन सी watch चाहिए आपके, and he's just collectors have started looking at his watches, right?
Right.
That is showing that India is going in the right direction, kind of. These are the
Right.
stories that actually solve for a larger audience. What is it
Okay.
solving? It is inspiring the whole of India to become a design-led product country, right?
Design-led product country. Right. Okay. So
Right. That is what he's driving, right? So these are startups that are actually solving for something big.
yeah.
That is what
So
inspires.
let's construct a metaphor, right? So let's say you're walking in a meadow and you're getting all these birds towards you. These birds are the ideas, right? They're saying hi, they're tweeting in the
Yeah,
original sense of
yeah,
the word.
yeah, yeah,
And what happens is that, let me just think how I can frame this. Do you need, in a particular, I don't like to use these terms or whatever. Assume there are streams, right? Science is a stream, and psychology is a stream, and electrical engineering is a stream, and whatever. So, do you
right.
need to have a lot of prior knowledge in a particular stream in order to have the chance to encounter an idea to make an innovation? Do you need to be like, am I making sense? And like, do you need to really read up all of the encyclopedia about a particular subject matter in order to get another idea for an innovation? Or can you get an idea for an innovation without mastering the full body of knowledge? What do you think?
Both are good.
Oh, okay. So
No
both work.
answer to the whole thing. There is
Okay.
no answer to the whole thing.
Hmm.
Sometimes an idea can be a CA telling you that I can make a watch,
Hmm.
right? Where did it come from? It just comes from him having a shop of watches that he used to sell watches out of, right? What is the reasoning of literature? Literature is actually creating that it is good to have literature to move towards a learning. So appreciation of what has been, right? It is always a journey. It helps you in becoming faster in your journey, right? But in the end, idea can come from anywhere. Idea can be the thought of something that I want to solve can come from anywhere and anyone. So, yeah.
What do you make of this the theory that sometimes the outsiders in to a particular field, they come up with a really good disruptive idea versus the
Yeah.
insiders? So is this, why is that? Because they're seeing a perspective which is obvious to them,
Yeah.
but it's not obvious
Sometimes
to the
see,
insiders.
for innovation. So for example, if you want to do something innovative, you have to break your thought. You have to forget everything for the second, the thing I was talking about earlier, right? So
Yeah,
the second way of solving the problem,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
is always the most crazy moment. The first one is from literature. Generally, it
Yeah,
happens.
right.
Whatever you've learned, and it is the most boring answer because you look at the second one and you'll realize that the second one was so amazing,
Mm,
right?
mm.
So this is where the whole second part is, right? So
Okay.
this second part is what I think that idea can come from anywhere and it can be so innovative that you can't finish it with just by saying that I went from literature and made this. No, you can't. You have to really, really think deeply about connecting the dots in the right way. They
Mm,
can come from anywhere. And
mm,
sometimes it is about a person is giving you an idea
mm.
and you looked at it from the literature that you already have read and you found the structure to that thought that was shared with you, right?
Right, right,
But
right, right,
literature is
right,
always important. Literature
right,
for the executor is very important.
right,
If you don't appreciate, how will you have grit?
right, 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 right. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So somebody,
Yeah.
very interesting. Okay. I'm kind of
Yeah.
speechless now. So, do you want to go in a particular direction? I've discussed whatever I wanted to really talk about it. It's I don't know why this is this common knowledge. Whatever you're telling us, how do ideas
No,
come
I
from?
just explained to you my own thing.
Hmm,
Might be this is common knowledge or not, but
hmm,
overall, I have understood that this has been the reality of things.
hmm,
Overall, I have seen a lot of people who just have a moment of, for example, a blackout in the night,
hmm,
right? So an artist who's actually from Shanti Niketan used to work in an advertising firm, and then he came to the product design part because I took a project. I
hmm,
said, okay, we'll do a art website,
hmm.
okay, to sell art. So some
Yeah,
German lady came in and she said, I will open up an Indian art selling e-commerce, right? So to do that, we said that we will get you some artists also onboarded. So one
yeah,
artist was creating an artwork specially for that website, right?
right.
While we were making that website, okay.
Hmm,
Now this artist has made so many artworks in the night. Every night he makes a new artwork, so he has to break his thought every night,
hmm,
right? He needs
hmm,
to get crazy every morning
hmm.
so that he can paint for the peaceful part time he used to have is the night part, right?
Yeah.
So after the 15th day, he became a blackout day for him, right? I
Okay.
don't have anything in me. I
Hmm,
am a zero. I don't have any knowledge, any thought, anything. And he started crying at 2 a.m. in the morning. Okay.
okay.
And I am working on the website and the delivery is on me, right?
Wow.
That I have to now this is the 15th day. He needs to
Hmm,
submit so the product will move forward.
hmm,
So the night, I get up in my car, I go to his home, then I give him some lemonade, and then we then then we have a conversation which is like, okay, why are you having a blackout? And I am the outsider in this moment. So he's taking it very positively,
hmm,
right?
hmm.
And then the outsider gave him a very crazy thought, right? That he's just रात के 3 बजे तो कोई भी crazy होगा, right? So he was very
Hmm.
crazy person, me, right? So,
Hmm, hmm.
so he gives a crazy thought and he goes, "Oh my God." And then he makes a guy with a helmet on it and he makes an artwork out of it or whatever crazy artwork he made, right? And
Hmm.
became one of the best things he did. He was the happiest man, and it went out to be an art piece that went onto the website.
Right.
That is right. So the journey is, you can't define it. You
Hmm.
can't define anything apart from it as well.
Hmm. So, well, obviously, problem solving and design has many manifestations, and we want to make sure it
Hello.
has many manifestations. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I can. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Perfect. So, well, that is it, folks. I really thank you, Arjun. Can you talk about? Oh, I think we lost Arjun here. We'll be right back. All right, folks, it looks like our guest has had some technical issues, because of which he's incommunicado, can't join back at the moment. But I'm glad this happened at the end of the episode. It was a very enlightening episode for me. I hope you like it. Thank you. He's back from his technical glitches. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
My
Arjun,
small
just to,
2 seconds of siesta. Yes. So
yes.
yeah, please tell me. Yes.
Okay. So, to conclude, tell us what
Yes.
you do and how do people get in touch with you if they want to. Are you looking for certain entrepreneurs at the moment? Are you looking for growth? What's going on?
So yes, so I represent IDEASHACKS Ventures, which
Hmm.
basically is known for innovation hubs as well as innovation platforms. We are a community slash buildings with stories which
Hmm.
are built for communities only. So that
Hmm.
circle is happening. What we
Hmm.
are looking for currently is more and more of impact startups
Yeah.
all across the world. If you want to reach out to us and get discovered in the Indian ecosystem, why don't you reach out to us at arjun@ideashacks.com.
Perfect.
You can reach out there and we will make sure that your message will be spread. Okay.
This is great. Perfect. Thanks a lot, Arjun.
Pleasure
Take
to
care.
be on your podcast. Yeah, amazing. Wishing you wings.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.